This is exchange zone. These years that you're here at Westlake is the exchange zone. And I don't even know why we're having this conversation. Why? Because you invented education. You are the ancestors of the people who invented education. And I don't care if you look at math. I don't care if you look at the written word. I don't care if you look at all the great writings. 2712 BC, a black man by the name of Imhotep was not only the father of medicine, he was the father of mathematics, your ancestor. And before he transitions, passing that baton from one to the next, he calls a young brother beside and he gives him, the last thing he does, he gives him all the mathematical concepts. And who was that individual? Got for some folks in here take geometry? Who is that individual? There's not an individual who can pass geometry unless you know his name was Pythagoras. The Pythagorean theorem. In 412 AD, a black woman by the name of Hypatia invents algebra. And yet we got black children. What's wrong? Dr. Kimber, I'm no good at math. What do you mean you're no good at math? Damn it, you invented it. 560 BC, a black man by the name of Aesop invents the written word. There be no Chaucer, be no Steinbeck, be no Hemingway, be no Shakespeare, be no Herman Melville. There would be no nothing if Aesop didn't invent the written word. But you see, there's an African proverb that says, if you don't know who you are, anybody can name you. And if anybody can name you, you will answer to anything. Now, he said, let's talk about the brand. And you can throw those slides up and I'll tell you, why is branding so critically important? There I am with Damon John of Shark Tank. And I said, Damon, give me the two keys, the two qualities that I can pass on to the future generation. He said, number one, you need creativity. What is creativity? The ability to come up with an idea. That's what everybody loves about your Generation Z. You guys aren't tech savvy, you are tech dependent. Don't you know that the average individual in our society from New York to California gets 5 ideas a year, any one of which, if they had the guts, the courage, the fortitude to chase their dream, will make them financially independent. Well, why don't they chase the dream? Well, number two, according to Damon John, you need innovation. And what is innovation? The ability to execute the idea. But what do we know about a brand? A brand is your name, your voice, your attitude, your appearance, and the content of what you got to say. And the content of what you got to say. We live in a society that will judge you 12 by 12 by 12. The first thing they will judge you 12 feet away. Soon as you walk in the door. Then they will judge you 12 inches away. They might smell your cologne. Oh, you didn't brush your teeth. You need a mint. And then they will judge you by the first 12 words out of your mouth. Now, why would I share that with you? Don't you ever give anybody a chance to wave you off. Because you are the future of the race. And Gen Z, if you don't get it together, we won't have a future. In 1944, there's a knock on the door. Benjamin Mays, when he was the president of Morehouse College, and in walks a middle-aged man and his 15-year-old son. 1944. And that middle-aged man said to Dr. Mays, the president of Morehouse College, "Oh my goodness, Dr. Mays, I was taking my son on a tour of your school. And I didn't know that you would be in your office. And I said, man, I would be remiss if I at least didn't take a chance and see if you were in. I want my son to meet you." And Dr. Mays, I'm not here to ask for any money. I'm not asking, I don't need money for tuition. I don't need money for room and board. I am completely prepared to pay for my son's education. But Dr. Mays, I just want to introduce my boy to you. And maybe you could say a few words to inspire him, to uplift him. I know he's a good boy and I know he's going to lead a good life. But Dr. Mays, I just want to make sure he leads a life worth living. Benjamin Mays walks over to that 15-year-old boy, grabs his hands, and he says, "Young man, I don't have a problem if you fail to reach your goals. But I got a big problem if you don't have any goals to reach. And I don't have any problem if you never touch the stars. But you and I are not going to get along when your thoughts and your dreams are not high as the stars." But who was that middle-aged man? That middle-aged man was Daddy King. And who was that 15-year-old boy? Martin Luther King. And Westlake, what do you know about Martin Luther King? Well, number one, his name wasn't Martin. He was born with the name Michael. When he was 8 years old, his father had his name legally changed to honor the German theologian. Number two, Martin Luther King never graduated from high school. He skipped the 9th grade, skipped the 11th grade, entered Morehouse at age 15. You do the calculus. He didn't finish high school. He's like Bishop T.D. Jakes didn't finish high school. Tyler Perry, 2 guys I interviewed, didn't finish high school. Never made more than $10,000 in any course or year of his life. But my hotshot know-it-all business students at Clark Atlanta said, "Well, Dr. Kimbrough, he did win the Nobel Prize, and with that came a cash windfall in excess of what? Close to $250,000. And I said, yes. But he gave every dime back to the movement, except $10,000. He had to repay his father-in-law to pay his income taxes. Your generation is all about the bling bling and the excess and the cars and the clothes. He only had 6 suits. 4 black, 2 gray. Got up at the same hour a day every morning. Got up at 6:15 every morning. First hour of the day, what did he have for breakfast? Coffee and orange juice. First hour of the day, went to his book line study, 200 books in his study, 1 hour prayer and devotion. What's the first thing you do when you get up in the morning? Scroll on your phone? Look, Generation Z, get it through your pretty and handsome heads. When Mark Zuckerberg came up with Facebook, when Chad Hurley came up with YouTube, when Kevin Systrom came up with Instagram, when Reid Hoffman came up with LinkedIn, when Jack Dorsey came up with Twitter, which is now X. They didn't come up with those social media platforms for you can gossip. They came up with those social media platforms that you might be inspired to go across the world and dig a well and give somebody water who doesn't even have clean water in their life. They came up with those social media platforms so your generation might be inspired to take up a love offering and buy young girls in Johannesburg, South Africa, who cannot attend school. Why? They don't have a uniform. You need a uniform. That you might be inspired to go ahead and start a fund drive to buy malaria nets, which is the #1 disease to this day in Africa. And what does a net cost? $8. You got kids your age dropping out like flies because they made the mistake of going to sleep without a net. In 1965, Martin Luther King gave more than 300 speeches in 1965. and traveled more than 300,000 miles to give those 300 speeches. And what do we know about Martin Luther King when he flew? He always flew first class. Did you know that? Dr. King flew first class. Not because he was conceited, not because he had a huge ego, not because he was narcissistic. The only reason why Martin Luther King flew first class, because when he got to the airport and he got to the terminal and he got to the gate, and when the other passengers saw who was going to be on the plane with him, no one wanted to sit next to him. No one. So the pilot would come out and huddle up with the flight attendants. Where can we put this where he won't be a nuisance to anybody? And throw his you-know-what up in first class. 4 times his house was firebombed. And each time, wife and 4 children in that house. You didn't know Martin Luther King owned a gun, did you? Yeah, he owned a gun. And he came to the realization, wait a minute, I'm the father of the nonviolent movement, threw that gun away. But the only reason why I share this story about Dr. King is maybe to motivate and to inspire you. Because Martin Luther King, the greatest number that you can ever associate with Dr. King is the number 30. Why? Because over the course of his adult life, Martin Luther King averaged 30 racial, prank-filled phone calls a day. Phone ring, pick it up. Nigga, I'm gonna... Phone ring, pick it up. Nigga, don't start your car. Pick 30. 30. 30. And you can't reach your goals and objectives? And you can't be more and have more? And you listen to your friends steal your dreams? There you are looking at my class. You can stay right there. Go ahead. Give me some more slides. All right, that's Dr. King. Our lives are officially over the day we begin to think about, talk about, and discuss everything that doesn't matter. Everything that doesn't matter. If you live the normal life, students, what's the normal life? Normal life is what? 74, 77 years. That's the normal life. That's it. The normal life. Everybody gets a normal life, 74, 76. You do the calculus. What is that? That's about 30,000 days, or that's about 4,000 weeks. See, Martin Luther King said that. I didn't say that. What is he trying to convey to you? He's trying to convey to you that time is not running out. But I don't care who you are, your life is. So according to Dr. King, what are you going to do with the rest of the life that you have left? And I hope that you're motivated to make a difference. That's the only reason why you're here. That's the only reason why the Lord blew breath into your lungs, is to make a difference. Number 1, you want to make a difference. Number 2, you want to make a difference doing something that makes a difference. Number 3, you want to make a difference doing something that makes a difference with somebody else that wants to make a difference. But number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, you want to make a difference with somebody else that want to make a difference doing something that makes a difference at a time when it makes all the difference in the world. And this is the time. You look at all the data under success, under leadership, with your race. If we're not in last place, we're next to last place. Dr. Kimbrough, what are you saying? I'm saying we need more doctors. We need more engineers. We need more lawyers. Look at what they're doing in the criminal justice system. And I've been right here in Atlanta. Are you kidding? Do you know how many times I've been in the Atlanta penitentiary, just like I'm speaking to the man? The last time I parked my car in the parking lot getting ready for class, I was booted and suited. And while I'm walking to class, my phone goes off. And who is it? Dr. Kimbrough. Yes, how are you? Oh, this is such a, hey, yes, it's been a while. It was the vice warden at the Atlanta Penitentiary. He says, Dr. Kimbrough, when are you going to come back and speak to our men? I said, well, shoot me some days and time, and I'll look at my calendar and look at my schedule, and we'll get it together. She said, no, Dr. Kimbrough, we want you to come. I said, well, I got class, but we want you to come now. I said, I have class. I can't come now. No, well, listen, all you got to do is come in. We'll have the security for you. It won't take long. Just go in there 1 hour and come back and blah, blah. I said, okay. So I called my teaching assistants. I said, just cover for me. I promise you I won't be more than an hour. They got assignments they got to do. I'll get back. I don't know if you've ever been in that penitentiary. First time, and I've been in there several times, you still can't get used to it. You walk down the hall, just like you drive down the street, they have a yellow line, a broken yellow line down the middle of the floor in the penitentiary. One side it's guests, the other side it's inmates. And on the wall, in big yellow walls, that big yellow writing, absolutely, positively, no touching. So I turned to the vice warden. Any other rules you want me to break? Come on, man. I got to give me some dab. Come on, bro, hug. Come on, man. What are you doing? You got to get out of here. Get your GED. We need you on the other side. On the other wall, in big bold letters, absolutely, positively, no profanity. And I turned to say, you got to be. Because when I get with the men, about 400 in there, I'm not going to speak to them like grandma. I'm going to speak to them like mom. I'm going to talk to them like a man. So the last time I was in there, why do I even bring that up? 400 men in there. And you got to be on good behavior to hear outside speakers. So I know that these folks are doing what they're supposed to do. But darn near knocked me to my knees. Majority black of the 400, overwhelmingly black. On the front row, in the first 3 seats in the front row, was the grandfather, seated next to the father, seated next to the grandson. If you took all the black men who are presently incarcerated right now, from New York, Attica Prison in New York, all the way out to San Quentin in California, and you took all those black men in those maximum security facilities and placed them in one city, just took them out wherever they are and placed them in one city, that will be the 12th largest city in the nation. Did you know that? Larger than Memphis, larger than Charlotte, larger than what? Larger than Miami and Oakland combined. And no one says a thing. No one said, like, business as usual. If that occurred to any other race, they'd be picketing in the streets right now. Don't allow anybody to dim your shine. Don't allow anybody to dim your light. You go home tonight and you pull out your scripture and you read it and see how many times in that Bible it says, complete thy noble task. What in the world does that mean, students? You were sent here for a purpose. The reason why I was born in 1950 and my father was born in 1914, they weren't ready for me yet. That's why I had to wait. The universe, the world wasn't ready for me. So that's why he was born in 1940. The reason why you were born in what? 2004, 2006, whatever? because you weren't ready when I came along. But now that you are here, you're right on time. So I got to ask you several questions. Since you are here for a purpose, please tell me what that purpose is. Just tell me. And if you don't know, I need to know why you don't know. Because you're involved in everybody else's business except yours. So there's Joseph in his carpenter shop. And a customer comes into Joseph and says, Joseph, I'm here to pick up my table. And Joseph says to the customer, he says, my son didn't finish it yet, but if you come back in a couple of days, I promise you he will finish it. He said, this is the third time I've come here. When will my table be ready? And where is your son? Every time I come here to pick up my table, he's never here. Where is he now? Oh, he's in the hills. He's speaking in the hills. What do you mean speaking in the hills? He needs to be working with you right now in the shop. What is he doing speaking in the hills? Well, before he left this morning, he told me that he had to go and be about his father's business. Well, what is your father's business? If you want to find your father's business, the only place you got to look is in your heart. But I got to ask you 3 questions. Number 1, what do you love to do? What do you have a passion for? What can you throw your whole heart and soul into? There I am with Steve Harvey. I interviewed Steve Harvey. Steve Harvey's life would not be the same if this event did not occur to him in 4th grade. He told me when he was in 4th grade, it was career day at school. And all his classmates had to come to the front of the class and announce in front of the entire class what they're going to be when they grow up. So little Johnny steps up, I'm going to be a fireman. Little Janie steps up, I'm going to be a nurse. Little Jimmy steps up, I'm going to play ball. Okay, Steve, it's your turn. Tell everybody what you're going to be. I'm going to be on TV. Teacher looks at Steve, you're always cutting and clowning in class. This is a serious matter. Please tell your classmates what you're going to. No, I really am. I'm going to be on TV. Steve, I'm going to give you one last. I don't want to hear any nonsense about you and this TV. I'm going to be on TV. He goes home and tells his parents what just transpired. And praise God for his parents. Why? They said, Steve, go to school Monday. Just write anything on that paper just to get that teacher off your back. Tell her you're going to play ball, blah, blah, blah. But you write your life goals on that piece of paper. And you review your goals every day. And before you go to bed at night, you look at your goal, and the first thing you do when you wake up in the morning, you read your goals. Well, long story short, his life transpired when he was on Nighttime at the Apollo, and then he had his own talk show, and me and him, he's telling me everything, and Bank Like Hank, this, that, and everything. End of story? No. When he got his own TV show, his first show, before his daytime talk show, before Family Feud and all, the first time, we're going back a decade, maybe 15, 16 years ago. The first time he'd been on TV, from that, every Christmas since that year, he would send that teacher who told him, wouldn't be on TV, you're cutting up, a television. Every year for Christmas, Steve Harvey sent that teacher a television. And about 25 years later, the teacher is still living. She has transitioned now. Said, Steve, I got so many TVs. Come on, you're sending them to me, and I give them away. I know it was nice of you to give me these flat screens and everything, but I ain't got room for all of it, so I just give them away to people. He said, that's fine. I just want to make sure that you can see me on TV. So what do we know about the dream stealers, students? There'll be cynics, there'll be non-believers, there'll be unachievers, there'll be doubters. That ain't got nothing to do with you. You use their doubt, you use their cynicism to propel you forward. So number one, dream big dreams. Number two, believe in yourself when no one else will. So there I am in South Florida. Sony Columbia Records brought me in, going through the strategic plan, blah, blah, blah. I go ahead with my presentation, and before going back to my hotel room to throw on my cargo shorts and lay on the beach, I said, man, this is Sony Columbia Records. Let me talk to some of these VPs. These are music moguls I'm dealing with. And I'm glad I did. Why? Because they told me stories about Beyonce I never knew. And that you probably don't know. When Beyonce, there she was, a couple days ago, Album of the Year? They told me, Dr. Kimbrough, you should have seen Beyonce the first time we saw her when she was in the 8th grade, age 13. She didn't believe in her dream. She was about to give all the singing and dancing away. We had to convince her that she did have an opportunity. She went to her father and said, I'm sick and tired of these singing lessons. I'm tired of these dancing lessons. After church on Sunday, you drop me off at the mall, and there I am singing, folks laughing at me and everything. I can't even walk down the halls in my junior high school. My classmates are pointing their finger at me. I just want to fit in. I just want to be like everybody else. So I said to him, well, something happened. What in the world took Beyonce off that track and placed her on that track for greatness? And they told me In Vogue. When Beyonce was thinking about starting Destiny's Child, Beyonce wanted Destiny's Child to be just like those 4 women in Vogue. I got a chance to meet 3 of the 4 In Vogue members. I want to just dress like In Vogue, dance steps like In Vogue, come up, had the brand of In Vogue. Well, In Vogue came to Houston, Texas to give the performance of a lifetime. And Beyonce told her parents that she did not want to sing, she didn't want any more dancing lessons, she was going to do something else. And there's Beyonce as her heroes, her sheroes In Vogue are singing and just blowing the concert out. Beyonce is in the front row. Tears coming out of her eyes, knowing that she just threw a dream away. And after the concert was over, she got an opportunity to go backstage and meet the 4 women from In Vogue. So I said to Sony Columbia, I said, what in the world did In Vogue tell Beyonce? I said, Dr. Kimbrough, one word. I said, what word is that? Believe. Believe. A couple years ago, Beyonce goes back to her Houston town to give the concert of her life. It's been a while since she sang in Houston. Now she's back at her roots, and she had, I don't know how many times they had to add more days to the concert, add more days to the tour. Well, the last night that she sang in Houston, there's a young girl, and it's her birthday. And her father surprised her with front row tickets to the Beyonce concert. And after the concert is over, that young girl is so high, she's bouncing off the ceiling. And instead of following the crowd out the door, her father says, man, we'll never get out there. Let's take a side door back here. It looks closer. And they go out the side door, and where do they find her? They're in that alley. And while they're in the alley, they see a chauffeur-driven limousine, and they see Beyonce coming out, walking into the limousine. Well, that young girl breaks her father's hand and starts running up in and out of her security and runs up and hugs Beyonce. Beyonce's startled. Girl, what are you doing? She says, Beyonce, I can't believe I'm touching you. Man, I can't believe I'm here talking to you. When I'm in the shower, man, I grab the comb, I grab the brush, I act like I'm you singing into the microphone. I know all your dance steps. I know all your lyrics, Beyonce. I just got one question. Tell me how I can be as great as you. And what did Beyonce tell that young girl? Believe. Believe. So I don't know what's going to transpire after this. I don't know if my little message fell on deaf ears. That is completely, totally up to you. But the bottom line, when it comes to success, don't you ever forget, success is a choice. You can accept the circumstances as they are, or you can take the responsibility to change them. Last slide, and then we shut now. Give me my Tiger Woods slide. Keep going. Keep going. Stop right there. And then we shutting this bad boy down. One of the last interviews I had was Tiger Woods' father, Earl Woods. He made his transition. And I asked him, I said, Mr. Woods, tell me something about you that no one else knows. Something about me that no one, that's easy. Everybody thinks that I pushed Tiger Woods and that I pushed Tiger to play golf. I didn't push Tiger to play golf. Tiger, man, he was playing all this. We played basketball, football, baseball. Tiger came to me and said he didn't want to play those other sports. I said, why, son? He says, it's taken away from my golf time. And then he told me when Tiger Woods was coming through the ranks, all those tournaments leading up to one day he gets his pro card, when he is coming through the ranks, 9 out of 10 of the tournaments that he played on, he couldn't go in the clubhouse because he was black. He wasn't allowed in the clubhouse. So he had to change in his car in the parking lot. Was he discouraged? Was he dismayed? No, wasn't. But he always did two things after he dressed out in the open, in the parking lot. He walked onto the green and he looked for the tour director. And he walked up to the tour director and said, I just got two questions. Number one, can you direct me to the first tee? And number two, what must I shoot today? What must I hit today to set your new club record? And there he is, holding up a trophy, the many trophies that he won. Somebody said it couldn't be done, but he with the chuckle replied that maybe he couldn't, but he would be one who wouldn't say till he tried. So he buckled right in with the trace of a grin on his face if he worried he'd hit it. He started to sing as he tackled the thing that couldn't be done, and he did it. Somebody scoffed, oh, you'll never do that. At least no one has ever done it. But he took off his coat and he took off his hat, and the first thing we know, he begun it. With a lift of his chin and a bit of a grin without any doubting or quit it. He started to sing as he tackled the thing that couldn't be done, and he did it. There are thousands that tell you cannot be done. There are thousands to prophesy failure. There are thousands to point out to one by one the dangers that wait till assail you. But with a lift of your chin and a bit of your grin, you just take off your coat and go to it. You start in the sing as you tackle the thing. This is Black History Month. Look, damn it, every month of your life is Black History Month. Every month. The accomplishments of your race. You doubt me? Spit in his face, I'll show you Marcus Garvey. Slam the school door in the face, she becomes Mary McLeod Bethune. Write him off as another fatherless black male, I'll show you Ben Carson. Disobey his orders, he becomes Colin Powell. Blind him, I'll show you Stevie Wonder. Rape her, she becomes Maya Angelou. Tell her she can't lead, she becomes Michelle Obama. Tell her she can never run a business, I'll show you Oprah Winfrey. Put him in a prison cell and throw away the key. You got two choices. You got Malcolm X, you got Matthew Henson. But what am I saying? I'm saying place that student at Westlake with all the chaos and confusion, but give that child your heart as a teacher. And I remember I've never had a black teacher in my life. Did you know that? From kindergarten to PhD, no one from Rhythm Nation ever stood in front of me and told me that I could succeed. I had white teachers. I had German Americans. I had Italian Americans. I had Jewish Americans. I had Irish Americans. But I remember the teachers that placed their hand on my shoulder and said, man, Dennis, we believe in you. Dream big dreams. My kindergarten teacher, Miss Staff, Second grade teacher, Miss Pachoiba. Fourth grade teacher, Miss Welch. Fifth grade teacher, Miss Castro. Sixth grade teacher, Mr. Ananasio. My seventh grade teacher, Mr. Lammers, he's a football coach. My eighth grade teacher, Mr. Mantle, other football coach. Ninth grade teacher taught me Latin, Mr. Meyer. 10th grade teacher really got me on the road to writing, took the times with me. I could write cursive and I can go ahead and put my thoughts together, Miss Cabral. And the woman who taught me pre-cal, algebra 2, 12th grade, Miss Snyder. Dream big dream, students. I love you. Peace out. There you are.
Can we do some Q&A?
Yes, whatever you want to do. Right. Family. Oh, I want to ask the question, but I won't. Come on, who cares?
I'll start out here. So in regards when you said students, they need to believe, but what other advice, like just one other advice would you give a 9th grade?
I found 4 common chords in all the folks I interviewed. Like I told you, Tyler Perry, Damon John, T.I. spoke in my class, Steve Harvey spoke in my class, Pinky Cole spoke in my class, Tyrese Gibson, the actor, spoke in my class. Number 1, they dreamed big dreams. They had a dream, a passion, something they desperately wanted to accomplish in their life. And students, where do dreams come from? A dream comes from your creator knocking on your subconscious, asking you, do you want more out of life? You'd be shocked how many folks just dismiss the dream. Wait a minute, bro. Come on, man. So number 1, they dream big dreams. Number 2, they were inner directed versus outer directed. In other words, they cut off all the nonsense. They didn't believe all that nonsense of you can't do this, you can't do that. They walked to a beat of a different drummer. Ralph Waldo Emerson and Henry David Thoreau. You take good notes when you're in the English class. Henry David Thoreau was Ralph Waldo Emerson's prize pupil. And Henry David Thoreau was incarcerated because he didn't pay his income taxes. Why? He didn't like the way Native Americans were treated. He didn't like the way blacks were treated. He said, I ain't paying taxes for this. So they threw him in jail. So Ralph Waldo Emerson goes down to the jail to look at his prize student. And he goes into jail and he looks at Henry David Thoreau behind the bars and he says to him, Henry, what are you doing in there? And what did Henry David Thoreau say to Ralph Waldo Emerson? He said, Dr. Emerson, what are you doing out there? Whoa. Inner directed. What did the rapper Too Short say? It's been way too long. Time for the whole world to play your song. All right, so I've been teaching more than 25, going on 24, 23, 24 years at CAU. 3 times Professor of the Year. So what does that mean? When I walk into the classroom, I got 100 students that know they're going to sing my song. Why? Well, this is what I was born to do. When I was a sophomore at the University of Oklahoma, my frat brothers called me the professor. I wasn't even thinking. I said, man, why you guys call me the professor? Man, you always got a book under your arm. If we can't find you, we know exactly where you are in the library somewhere, man. Number 3, they flat out refused to fail. Now, I'm not saying they didn't fail. Students, get this through your head. What is success? Success is a statistical event. That's all it is. Why are you Dr. Kim? Why am I Dr. Kimbrough and you are where you are right now at Westlake? The only reason why I'm Dr. Kimbrough is not because I'm smarter than you. The reason why I'm Dr. Kimbrough, I got more college hours than you had. You get the same number of college hours I have, you'll be Dr. whoever. It is a statistical event. People ask me all the time, man, who's the one guy you want to interview that you couldn't? It was Michael Jordan. Don't have time for the Jordan story, but I tried my best. I sent letters, phone calls, blah, blah, blah. Couldn't get a hold of him till one day. I get a phone call from Michael Jordan's personal attorney. And he says to me, he says, Dr. Man, we love your project. It's going to be so needed, but you can forget about interviewing Michael Jordan. I said, why? He says, I handle his money. I handle the money, he and his wife, and he doesn't return my phone calls half the time. But I'll tell you what, if you want to fly to Chicago, I will take you out to lunch. I will take you out to dinner. You tell me the place where you want to eat, and you can interview me. Because there's no one on this planet that knows more about Michael Jordan than me. The reason why I just shared the brief story, and that's not the story, because Jordan was told the power, when he was in the 7th grade, the power of a statistical event. And that concept, that idea was passed on to Kobe Bryant. So what? You fall short of the mark. Keep going. And then last but not least, these folks dedicated themselves to lifelong learning. Look, students, you don't go to school one period of your life. Every day you are in school. Every day you are in school. You're here. Every person you meet will either be your teacher or your student. So I only got one thing to say to yourself. Teach yourself well. Teach yourself well. What did Erykah Badu have to say? Erykah Badu said, I had to spend my entire adult career to unlearn all the nonsense that I found out was not true. She had to teach herself well. The reason why I'm crazy about Erykah Badu, that was the first time I heard the term woke. Woke ain't got nothing to do with color, ain't got nothing to do with politics. Because when asked to define woke, what did Erykah Badu say? Woke says this is the realization that when you get on this journey called life, you got a window seat. So take good notes. Be aware. You are blessed, and I know we got a nut in that White House, but you are blessed to live in a capitalistic economy. What does capitalism mean? You go to college, if you go to college, take an economics course. Capitalism means everything is for sale. That's all it means.
Anybody have questions? I have a question in the back. Wait, stand up, stand up. Yeah, stand up.
Stand up.
Control the room.
Stand up. What your name is? Stand up, turn around, who you came with. Too much hip hop.
My question was that believe moment for Beyonce. What was that for you?
The what?
The believe moment for Beyonce. What was that for you?
About belief?
No, like when she was told to believe. What was that moment for you?
Oh, man. That is a great question. That moment for me occurred, it took me close to 7 years to write my first book. And we went through hell and high water financially. That is a great question. Hell and high water. Almost lost my house 5 different times. I did have 2 cars repossessed. Twice, the water was cut off in my house. Well, me and my wife, we were 5 months behind on a mortgage, and you will tell us what happens when you're 5 months behind on the mortgage. They came out, they took pictures of the property, and it was a Sunday afternoon in May, and we panicked. We started crying and everything, and my wife said, we got to get out of this place, get out of this house. Let's go out to eat. And I said, eat? They still make food? Like, we didn't have money for nothing. Well, anyway, we went to a Chinese restaurant, and we were crying over our food and everything. And after you finish your meal, they bring you your fortune cookie, and we're opening up fortune cookies. And I said to my wife, what does yours say? And she said something I can't even remember. And then she says, okay, what does yours say? And I cracked open the cookie, and it was some nonsense that I didn't want to hear. It wasn't anything compelling. It wasn't anything motivating. And she said, well, what does it say? What does it say? I said, Pat, forget it. Will you please tell me what yours say? I said, this says something. This ain't my fortune. But I said to my wife at that restaurant, as God is my witness, I said, before I leave, I'm going to find my fortune. So what did I do at that restaurant? I went around to every table of patrons who ate that left their fortune cookie and cracked it open till I found my fortune. I was way back over there in the restaurant, and I was shouting back to my wife and said, they're gonna go security on us, they're gonna throw you out here. Have you lost your mind? I said, Pat, I'm looking for my fortune. And I would go over there and finally found my fortune. And she was way back over there, but I said, Pat, I found it. And they would say, sir, come on, you're causing us a commotion, sir. I said, no, I really found my fortune. So if you ever come to my house, come to my study, and I got all the books that you would ever want to read in your life, but by my computer, by my area where I do my work and grade my papers, I got about the 30 or 40 books that had a profound impact on my life. One of them is a Bible that my wife and children gave me years ago on Father's Day. You open up that Bible, the Possibility Thinker's Bible, and you open it up, look down, and you will see that fortune. And what does it say? You will be surrounded by wealth and riches. Look, students, your Lord and Savior does not test you. Don't believe anybody say, oh, God testing you. Why in the world would I test you? He gave you the dream, ain't the test. He doesn't place you on the battlefield. He lifts you above it. So get in alignment. Oh, this is a school. You can't talk about prayer. Are you out of your mind? How can you take prayer out of anything? Are you crazy? You blindfold me, I'll envision a prayer. Put a sock in my mouth and put duct tape over my mouth, I'm humming a prayer. Knock me over the head unconscious, damn it, I'll dream a prayer. What am I praying about? I'm praying for you. I'm praying for your generation. Because there are no excuses. All the nonsense that previous generations went through, all the obstacles been removed, all the roadblocks. All you need to do is step out there and grab your dream. There you are, my brother.
First off, so I want to thank you again for giving
Yep.
me a round of applause.
Whoa!
We have a whole
I know, boy. She isn't worth a quarter. Man,
we got a lot of Westlake swag.
yeah, I'm rocking this tomorrow, girl. Whoa. As a matter of fact, I'm going to break that bad boy in right now.
No, we appreciate you. Thank you for your time. I don't know about that.
Oh, yeah. What? This? What?
Yes, sir.
What? When you see this, it makes you shake and shiver, doesn't it?
Absolutely not. No, we appreciate you all. If you guys have any questions, we appreciate you guys for coming to these events.
See that? I just broke it in,
But thank you all for coming. You guys, questions, please come network. Come meet these.
There you
great
go,
companies.
man.
Hey, all right, we appreciate you. Thank you.
Praise
Yes,
God.
sir.
Louisa, you
So the
boy.
event is